Let's start off with the big dog, shall we?
Let's do it.
Start off with the Texas Longhorns. And like I mentioned earlier, they moved up to the #1 overall spot in the class of 2025, according to 247 Sports. And that doesn't surprise me at all. This class is just absolutely loaded. Moved up to the top spot, I would assume, after securing Michael Terry III this morning.
Yeah, huge commitment for them. Being #1 is a big accomplishment, right? Like, they're going to be fighting to the wire for that. Michael Fasusi's recruitment could be like the final thing that maybe puts them over the top if they can flip him from OU. But just a huge year in general from Steve Sarkisian. They had a top 5 class last year, doubling down with, potential #1 class this year. That program is stacked for the future.
Let's take a look at another 5-star in Galveston Ball safety Jonah Williams, but we're not going to tell you about him. We're going to let the BTZ take over here. Guys, what are we seeing in Jonah Williams?
That's right. Greg Tepper, Carter Yates over here in the ball talking zone. Over there, they're talking about the drama. We're here to talk ball because we've been grinding tape. It's easy to grind the tape here on Galveston Ball athlete Jonah Williams, recently revealed to be the cover boy of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising. And I know you've been all over his tape. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, we dubbed him the Texas Tornado on that Rising recruiting magazine because his highlight tape will blow you away. He gets it done in all 3 phases, as a safety, as a kick returner, even as a wide receiver sometimes. We see him at college playing in the back end. Don't ask whether it's linebacker or safety. He's the rise of positionless player in the back end of the secondary, similar to what you'd see from an Isaiah Simmons of Clemson, now at Arizona, in the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL. That's what I could see him playing for the Texas Longhorns on one of the best defenses in the nation.
He can play all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get in on special teams early as well. But maybe the biggest threat to the Texas Longhorns might be his baseball career. This is a guy who is considered to be a top Major League Baseball draft pick. But for right now, the Texas Longhorns are pretty pleased to have Jonah Williams coming to Austin.
Yeah, and that baseball background comes from 3 older brothers he has that are all baseball players. He's a center fielder on the baseball diamond, throws 94 miles an hour at center field. That's why he's on the freaks list, because he's a 4-sport athlete, but baseball is the biggest sport that he plays as a secondary sport. Texas got a hell of a baseball program too, though. You might see him on the diamond for the Longhorns.
He's got a 22.2 in the 200 meters sprint on the track. He's a playmaker all over the field. Jonah Williams, a big part of the Texas class over here in the ball talking zone. We're gonna keep grinding the tape. Back to you guys at the big boy desk.
Thanks, Tepper. All right.
You see me? That's me looking over my shoulder trying to watch out for my job. Those dudes in the ball talking zone, they're pretty good.
The BTZ, man, that's lethal. That's a lethal combo over there. Jonah Williams and Michael Terry III making up just 2 prospects in this outstanding class. Now, let's take a look at some of the other prospects that are definitely worth keeping your eye on. Up there at the top there, safety Jonah Williams from Galveston Ball, and then you move it down to one of my favorite, I think, kids in this class, and that's Saxy wide receiver Kalik Lockett. Your favorite, I would say, Pleasant Grove defensive end Lance Jackson. Now, this one is, we also put a couple of out-of-state guys on here as well, but I think Jamie French definitely deserves to be on this list. One of the top guys that Texas has had on their list for a long time now. Dallas Skyline linebacker Elijah Barnes, who I actually got to see in person, and I can tell you, Texas fan, dude is legit. His frame is insane. He is just a hard-nosed linebacker there for Dallas Skyline. Quarterback KJ Lacey out of Alabama. Of course, Michael Terry, we already talked about. Man, what a class.
Yeah.
So impressive what Steve Sarkisian has been able to do to put together this class of 2025.
Yeah, looking down the rundown of this class, I think 2 of the names that you really want to keep an eye on, and that's wide receiver Kalik Lockett and wide receiver Jamie French. Those are 2 guys who I think can come in and be instant contributors. And that's what you're looking at when you're breaking down these classes, right? Like, you want guys who can come in and contribute immediately, and that's why you're out recruiting them if you're Texas, because they have their eyes on the national championship every year. And I think those are 2 guys that you can see make an impact on the field in 2025.
Definitely. And there's a lot of names on that list that we did not name, of course, because we just don't have room. We just wanted to put the top 7 on there. It's the Super 7. Exactly. So now that brings me to my next point. Any sleepers on that list?
Yeah, I definitely think that Jackson Christian is a guy that you should really keep an eye on. He didn't make that Super 7 list. That's a guy who I really like. He's outside of that. All the websites have him as a 3-star. I rate him as a 4-star. So I think he's a guy that like Texas fans should keep track of. Of course, he won a state championship at Port Neches Groves last year. So he comes again with that championship pedigree. But what I really love about him, he's mean. He's nasty.
It's fun to watch him play. I think mine is Ricky Stewart. Tyler Chapel Hill running back, only a 3-star right now. Was once committed to SMU, but flipped to Texas back in the summer or around that time before the school year started.
Great feet.
I think he's got great. He's very agile. He's just a bulldozer coming out of the backfield and really, really has made that running game come alive. Of course, along with Demetrius Bursman there at Tyler Chapel Hill. But what a fantastic player to keep your eye on. That's a 3-star running back, Ricky Stewart out of Tyler Chapel Hill.